Still gotta configure stuff. Um,
MB saying it's okay right now. Is it still all right what I'm talking?
You need to mute the YouTube.
I don't even. My YouTube is muted. No,
What about yours?
You fixed it.
Is it okay now? MB is saying it's not overlapping anymore. Harley says it's fine
I guess
too.
I'm gonna talk slower because I talk way too fast, and maybe that's the issue. Okay. So thank you, Bodeezy. Now, Captain, how about you?
So I switched maybe like 8 months before C-38 came out, just because I was bored with long range. Nothing really exciting happened. I think there was a player, like an older globe, that I saw on Facebook or something doing it, and I was like, fuck it, let's go.
All right.
It's definitely an expected.
Right. Expecting a Cinderella story about mid-range. Mine's pretty boring,
I used
too.
to kill my troops off every void anyways. Like, as a C-34, I'd have like 7 or 8 million battle power, so it's not like I lost money making troops.
I mean, the point of troops to have troops is for troops to die, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's their purpose.
So I rebuild my army anyways, decided to go mid-range.
Yeah. Okay. Oxy, what about you?
I mean, I was long range before from the start. When I left my long range city in 225, moved over to 52. That one was long range too. Had a chance to get this one. I've always been, kind of curious about it. But didn't realize, I think, some of the nuance and things that you have to, pay attention to. Otherwise, your Titans are going to die quick. Those kind of things.
But you were in long range for the longest time until you moved to 52. You became mid range.
Yeah, I was long range to start too. My old city was
Right.
long range.
For
Yeah.
like what, 2 years, right?
Yeah, longer than that.
Yeah. So do you see a big difference when you were in long range to the switch of mid range?
Yeah, I think, right. I mean, you definitely lose a little bit more troops, but you also kill tons, right? I think there's lots of different nuances about formation that puts troops in the right positions, getting the different island buffs and shields, but also making sure that your Titans don't die. If you don't take at least some long-range troops to protect the Titans, are going to die. That was something I couldn't figure out in the beginning. I think Cap helped me with that. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Just for everybody information, the players that are in mid range are well known as the thief killers or the kill thieves. Because whenever they join a group attack, they'll steal everybody kills. So if I go in and then Oxy comes behind me, even though I was there first, I'm gonna come out with 35 kills while he comes out with 1,000 because he steals my kills.
We're just better at killing. That's all.
Thieves, bunch of thieves. Seriously. All right. So let's see. Next question. All right. Do you guys, after experimenting and being a mid-range, and some of you been long range for the longest, but then you switch, um, would you recommend players to switch to mid-range? What's the pros, what's the cons, or no, or yes?
I'd say if you got the money, I would totally go for it. But being mid-range is definitely more expensive than being like a back row player.
Let's not talk about money. Because obviously everybody knows you need money. You need money to be a mid-range player.
Well, you need money to play this game at a
Obviously.
high level. The fun factor is definitely with mid-range. I have personally converted many long rangers into mid-range.
Oh damn,
You know,
Oxy, I mean Bodeezy running a cult of mid-range.
damn straight. You know, they did thank me. They did say it's a lot more fun. There's a lot more to it. So if you're like a cautious, you know, player that doesn't want to lose many troops, that just kind of wants to go in and, you know, get whatever and come out fairly unscathed, probably not for you. But if you like to kind of use your brain a little bit, and you know you are a bit more extreme, you do like the kills, you are aggressive, then most definitely mid-range is absolutely fantastic.
But that's if the person was, let's say, in the beginning stages and then they want to switch, it will be easier for them, right?
100%. If you don't get like amazing unworldly skills, like long range unworldly skills, then it's fairly easy to switch. You also have to consider troops. It's not just skills you're switching. You also have to, you know, build up, you know, a fleet, 2, 5, 10 fleets of mid-range troops. So that's another thing. And if you're spending and you have, you know, 100 mil or whatever, and if you're long range, it can kind of suck for you to switch at that point.
What do you say, Captain or Oxy?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I think. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Captain.
you're good, Oxy.
Yeah, right. I think Bodeezy hit on a lot of the same sort of things, right? If you like kills, you count the dead tomorrow. You know, you're that kind of player. Then yeah, you're gonna love it. It does cost a little bit more in troops. Definitely agree. As long as you have not deep into unworldlies, then that's not that costly of a switch. But if you've already got S or SSSSS range skills in long range, it's going to be a steep climb, I think, to switch it all over. So you'd have to, and then you got to build an army too. So maybe if you just got zeroed and you got tons of stuff.
So I kill them all.
Kill them all. That's right, we kill them all.
Yeah, you definitely have to like delve into the game, like battle mechanics a lot more as a mid ranger too. So that kind of makes it more experimenting.
Yeah, that was super new to me, right? I've been a long range player and one of the stronger ones in my nation for a long time. I didn't even really look or dig into battle reports all that much. It wasn't until I took over this account, and I was like, oh, okay, I got to mess with some things and sort of dial it in. And it's not, I think a lot of long range players will use, very similar or even the same formations, and it works across many accounts. I think it's a lot simpler. Whereas something that works better for me may not work better for Cap, right?
So, as you guys see, as a mid-range player, do you think when you became mid-range, you have to think outside of the box or experiment way more than what a long-range player would have to?
You do.
Yeah, 100%.
The big thing with mid range, the weak point is the backline. The backline protects the Titans, right? So every player, you know, is going to have a different like lightning level, different blood feast level, different zombies. So you know you have to set the correct amount of backline to keep your Titans protected. Because if you don't, if you just do a few troops, or if you don't do any backline, your Titans are gonna die. Titans are probably the strongest thing in game. So it is extremely important to keep them alive. And you, on another hand, you also have to think about your front row. If that goes first, your mid-range troops are right there, so there's nothing to protect them. They're going to be taking heavy damage. So unlike long range, you're looking from both sides, right? So you're looking front and back, because if a lot of times if any of those things fail, there's a good chance you might lose a fleet versus fleet battle.
Okay. So I remember when mid-range started to become its own thing. I remember players used to do the whole mid-range attack, mid-range HP. But then recently, it'll switch to melee HP, mid-range attack. What made the change?
Titan equipment.
You know, and T12 shredders.
Yeah, that combination. It made front line a lot more viable. You also have other boosts that come from front line being alive. And before that, mid-range players used bikers as kind of frontline or like middle troop between your rockets, between your zombies, and then you would have a little bit of the front line. So that's why HP, mid-range HP, was extremely good.
Until Titan equipment came in.
Yep.
All right. Do you think that due to that change, did it was it I don't know, did it take you long to switch from mid-range HP to melee HP, or do you guys were smart enough to save the melee HP fragments?
Yeah, I saved some officer skills, and I already had the melee HP otherworldly, so it didn't impact much other than like the small loss from resetting them.
Okay.
For me, it wasn't bad. When Titan equipment came out, I went on NX3 server, asked if I should change or not. Saya said yes. DSM said no. And then
Did you ever
after,
ask Asahi? Like Asahi, I think was is her name.
oh no,
You know,
I actually
so for anybody who don't know, Asahi, I'm not she's a player from BBB 114. Great player. She's like the mother of mid range. Like
for
Sayez is the
now.
father for now. Yes,
All right.
don't this is chill, chill. Asahi, chill. Um, I would I would like to have Asahi on the podcast, but sadly we don't have calls. We don't have the phone number. Anyways, so as like Sayez is the father of long range at the back in the day, then Asahi is like the mother of mid range. So that's for who don't know who Asahi is. You can continue, Bodeezy, sorry.
No, so those two guys had different opinions because DSM said if I don't have shredders, I shouldn't switch to melee HP, but I knew I was going to get them soon. So I just ended up going melee HP. And as far as Asahi, I did make an account in 114 because I wanted to know unworldly skills. And I reached out, got the like a super vague answer. It was just pretty much it's hard to get to pull anything good, and that was kind of it. So I was like, all right, thank you, and that was it.
You need more popularity votes to be able to get her attention. Okay,
Yeah.
let's see. All right. I have one more question, and then if the chat has questions of their own that they want to ask you guys can post the questions and your will let me know if we have any.
Oh,
The
they're
next
definitely brainstorming for questions right now for these guys.
okay, okay, pick one. Pick a good question, your.
Oh no, they're still brainstorming right now.
Okay,
Matthews asked what y'all think about interesting, challenging questions that are pertinent and can help out players wanting to make the transition.
that's good. I did see Maddie over there saying, "Why don't you guys talk about the great mid-range killer Raz?"
Yeah, that was
Oh,
long.
oh God.
Oh God.
We
Next.
can save that for later.
Yeah.
MB, come on, who has beaten Raz, yo? Who has beaten Raz, yo?
Himiko has a good question though. She says, "When's the best time to switch if you're going to switch to mid range?"
C36 or early.
Why, Oxy?
Well, right at 36, you can start recruiting rockets. You can start switching things over for melee as you're working towards getting 37 and shredders.
And that is true.
The
Shredders
timing,
are
right?
still good. Shredders are very good to
Yeah,
have.
they're essential. Otherwise, a melee build doesn't. I don't think it works.
That's good.
I
Um,
mean, go and hit something in the mines with T11 tanks. You melt.
Yeah. Once you're
so-
C36, the first thing you gotta do is save up for them shredders, T12 shredders.
yeah, because Oxy said early on, and C30 is very good for mid range. You do have bikers, you do have rockets, you have shredders, you have all of that stuff. But the problem is, once you start moving up, at a C33 you get gunners. You need camp. Gunners are not good. Then you get to C34, you get tanks, so you have to build up factory at four more levels. After that, you go to 35. Troopers are actually very good, except workshop is extremely expensive. And then once you get the rockets, that's when you really see what mid range is about. But like he said, you need shredders. You need a strong front line, especially with Titan equipment right now. And that's where shredders come in.
All right, that's good. Good answer. Let's see. I see a bunch of questions.
I actually got one from someone in my alliance actually, because I just want to say hi to everyone in Dawn and 567 because they're all actually listening to the stream and chatting about it in
Aw.
alliance chat. It's really
Oh,
cute.
hold on.
It's so
Hold on.
cute. And one of the alliance members is asking sort of if there's any special way to get mid-range frags, like sort of tips and tricks that you would suggest to players.
But that's an random, so I don't think there's any preference. The only ones that seem to be the hardest for me always was melee HP, but
Yeah, it's all about skill boxes. How many either offers you get, or how many times you refresh like the distribution center. And that's kind of it.
Any thoughts, Captain?
good packs for that in monthly.
Okay.
Right. Tons of skill boxes in there.
This actually also leads into another question that Maddie asked, which is to tell people what they need to prepare if they want to switch to mid-range.
So you'll need all the melee, or sorry, mid-range attack and mid-range expert skills for the base skills on your officers. You'll want to obviously reset your commander skills unless you have it all maxed out already or close. And then if you're already 6-star, right, you're going to want to have saved a whole bunch of fragments out so that you can roll and try to get the skills that you're looking for.
You definitely recruit maybe like 2 or 3 attack fleets before you do the swap.
Yes, that is a good idea.
And that's
There's
the
not-
A
one
lot of
thing
front
everybody
line.
fails to do.
Because
Exactly.
they're going to die.
Skills and have no troops. They may have like 1 fleet and then they join a team fight and then it's over.
It's dead. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I get better results solo.
But a good group of mid rangers, even like 3 to 5, can definitely like change a big group attack around.
Yeah, we got 12 at DD1.
Yeah,
It's
there
a
was a
good time.
question here saying, let me see, where is that question? I think it's Woody's question. Where is it? I saw it. I lost it.
Yeah,
Oh, here's
Woody
it.
asked.
Why it's best to have more than 5 mid-rangers in your alliance versus all long range?
Yeah, a mix is very good.
Why?
When you do group attacks, so all of the troops outside of like AoEs that can do a little bit of splash damage elsewhere, you have rockets or troopers that will hit backline. And since most of the players are long range, that's going to be the primary troop type, right? So that's going to be the troop type doing most damage, and essentially you're weakening um, the long range units every 3 hits that the rockets or troopers do. So
Yeah.
you're making the city weaker with your mid range troops.
And most just normal players, their mid-range damage reduction, isn't anything that they pay attention to long range first, right? So it's likely that we've got less damage reduction too.
That's actually a very good point.
So basically, having both covers it all. You're covering the long range reduction and you're covering mid range reduction. So having both of best, what's the same? The best of both worlds, you know?
It
Yeah,
is,
I
but
only ever see them both high on mid-range players usually, or right, like massive players that have already got everything high, right? Most people will just focus on long-range damage reduction, which if you've got to pick one, makes sense. It's the largest population, right?
Yeah. There's not that many mid range players from what I thought there was more, but no.
it's actually getting a lot more popular in the later nation globes.
Like the 700s?
500s,
Probably 9.
500s. Out of the top 5 players in my uranium mine, top 4 are mid range.
Interesting. I wonder how many of them are restarts. Right. I wondered that. How many people who played as long range go back and what, I'm going to do it as mid range instead.
2 for sure, and then 2 started as mid range.
Nice. 2
I can
converts.
imagine such switch. It feels it's painful to switch. For me, I would if I would ever switch, I don't think I would, but it just sounds painful because you need to get the fragments that you kept shredding. Now you gotta save them, and you know how the game is that when you need something, it does not give it to you.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, like the 4 players I mentioned, all of them spend money. Um, Another player who's probably 1-2 mid-range player in my globe is in my alliance. So that's kind of it makes things a little bit easier when you spend a lot.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not a
that's the
peasant.
general premise of the game.
You're like the one. You're that 1%. Mm. So, do you guys know why gunners are bad for PvP?
For PvP or PvE,
Uh, PvP, player versus player.
I don't
because
think they are.
they're terrible.
Why
I
are they
use them
terrible?
just on the end. Um, Usually in uranium mines, I'll put like maybe 1,500, 2,500 of them and havocs, maybe like 10,000 bikes, 300,000 rockets, 15K shredder, something like that. Um, with a little bit of back row in there. It works well.
Um, yeah, but like you use it as a filler. They're not there
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
kill, do
No, yeah,
damage, or win fights.
exactly. They're there to take hits on the end before destructive lightning gets into the bikes and
Yeah.
rockets.
So the thing with gunners is they don't have the special ability that rockets and troopers have. They do not reach back row. So they start from front, then go to mid, then go to back, and they're not what the actual like MR thing is about, right? Because you want to reach back row, you want to kill long range troops. So that's where they fail, and their special ability is for PVE. So they excel in things like Medici, or the Daily Monster, or like Doomsday, Mother of Doom. That's where you're going to get the big points from gunners and bikers.
Did you take a screenshot of your Medici score by any chance?
Yeah,
Is that like the
yeah,
highest score you ever gotten?
yeah.
You want to
I'll
show it to the group?
sure. You want me to send it to you, or
I think if you screen share real quick, I can pop the little window.
hold on, hold on, hold on. I'm just gonna do this. 1 second.
So while he does that, do you guys have any other reason why gunners are useless?
I've got a pretty good question from Lumber too.
Oh, sure, throw it.
Do you see it?
He asks, is there
Yeah.
merit to having an entire alliance be mid-range?
Give me one
And
second.
if you guys know if anyone's successfully done that in a newer server, or is it always better to have some long range mixed in, especially to improve the survivability of Titans?
You want to mix 100%.
Yeah, definitely. I know in 274, Squid started mainly mid-range alliance. I don't think everybody was, but they've got quite a few as well.
Nikki, can you see?
I can see it. The question is it popping up in the video?
Yeah, I can see it too on the stream.
All right, so Bodeezy, the mad lad, scored this much in Medici. I'm not sure if that's the biggest score, but to me, that's the biggest score I've ever seen in Medici.
It's up there. I've seen some of the other, right, like Moros and whatnot putting up some crazy scores recently. You have to send me your formation.
Definitely will. Yeah, I mean, I usually get around, 98, 99, 86, 97, 103. But yeah, this by far has been the smoothest run I've ever had.
What buffs were you focusing on?
Oh, you want me to tell you in game, or is it going to be the little secret?
Are you
I
open
don't
to
know.
share that with the people or no? Are you
Yeah,
guys gonna
yeah.
slide into each
So,
other's DMs?
the the biggest thing is you always want looter, and you always want scavenger. Above all else, like long range, they will prioritize zombie fleet size. But to
Yeah.
get huge scores, you need looter and you need scavenger. That's you can't do it without it. And especially if you get lucky and pull it on like early on, that solidifies it. By the time I got to level 19, I was already at like 70 something thousand. And then I kept on hitting the final monster for like 13.5k each time.
Wow.
Impressive.
Yeah.
And that's from the looter skill. You just get more from them that way rather than focusing on attack buffs.
Yep.
I've thought about that before. I've just never tried it. What do you or what you're just focused on attack over zombie attack and HP and defense when you're
No, I
any
actually
others?
don't. I don't. I never focus on attack, especially the last, the last level 19. When you have options and you have what is the buff that has like the attack HP and something and defense.
I think it's troops.
Ruler, troop ruler.
So
Yeah,
yeah, so
troop
the
ruler.
gold rulers, I will always pick them over attack. I don't really care for for the fleet expansion, for like the gold or whatever. If I get it, if it's the best one, I will, I will take it. But normally I will not focus on that. It's all about the scores you pull from each thing you kill.
Got it.
And that's
Okay.
how you get the huge scores.
Take notes, boys.
Interesting.
Take
What's
notes.
your fleet size usually by the time it ends?
So like 1.7 million, maybe 1.6.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice. Let me give it a shot.
I've done over 2 million fleet size, like well over 2 million. But it was not juicing enough points per hit. So like to me, that's why I just said forget it. And I kind of went back this route, and I've had first place for quite a while.
Okay. What's your main mid-range for bikes?
Bikers always, they have. So hold on, let me go. I don't know if you can see it or not.
Yeah, I can see it.
But bikers, they will have this PVE, which also works in Medici.
Got it.
So you have bikers and gunners for mid range that have these boosts that will, they will get you like crazy scores.
Okay. So mainly bikes, and then the rest is what, just filler?
Yeah. So I run sometimes 55, sometimes 65,000 shredders. I will do 100 like every other front line. I will do max zombies, max bikers, 250 of every mid-range troop, and then for long range, I will do 100 of each.
Okay. I'll give it a shot. This is always, I've never been able to like nail it and just go crazy, right? It's like, what am I doing wrong? So,
It's all
interesting.
about
Check it
buffs.
out.
When people say Medici requires like fleet setups, it doesn't have a lot of merit to it. It only depends how lucky you get with and what buffs you actually pick. So that's the biggest thing with an event like Medici.
Got it.
Noted. Get all
Right?
the extra point buffs.
Yeah. I'll have to see how I do next week.
Questions. Okay. I see a lot of going on in chat, so I'm pretty sure there's like another good question in there. Do you see anything, Yor?
All
Uh,
right, so I see Lumberg
yeah, there's one
asking.
question asking about cost, but I don't know if we want to get into like actual monetary investment in this podcast, so that's up to you.
But what?
There's someone asking about like an actual cost to switching.
A
It's
lot.
not that bad. It's
I mean,
so you
it
lose
all depends how deep you are into
that.
worldlies, right?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
the actual question was, what's the sacrifice and investment when you've been focusing on long range up to C36, and then you decide to make the transition to mid range?
it all depends on the troops and the unworldly skills.
Yeah. If you're like a 25 million 36 with, one or two frags filled in and you haven't really rolled anything, it's not going to be anything crazy. If you're all of them all filled out and you've got S and above long range skills and cross nation long range, it's going to be a bit more expensive.
Wait 1 second, because I think the audio is a little overlapping. Give it a second. All right, guys, everything's good now?
I
Sounds
think
like it.
I think so. Probably maybe just us talking over each other. There is another question. Willis is asking if you're a low or moderate spender between C30 and 33. Is there any benefit at that time to switch to mid range, or should you hold out to get the T11 cannons at C34?
C34 cannons, 100%.
I mean, in C35, you get the troopers, right?
So cannons and troopers are probably the two best troop designs. The problem with troopers is how expensive workshop is. So to get it from 30 to 35, it is extremely expensive. It's actually it's a bit less expensive than shooting two C-36 and then, taking your camp up. So that's why a lot of players will skip troopers.
I remember when C-35 came out, that's when mid-range bloomed, don't you think?
That was before my time, but like troopers are great, but the only issue is the cost of uranium in workshops. It is pretty outrageous. It's expensive, right? So like if you have a low to moderate spender, um, and especially if they haven't been playing for like a long time, you're not getting workshop.
Not without spending some money,
Yeah.
Gotta
and not
spend
a little
that
bit.
dollar.
Uranium is expensive.
I mean, the smart thing to do is like if you do Medici, you do your daily, like sending to Doomsday, and then you buy the cheapest pack every time it refreshes. I mean,
It's it's
it
not
may
gonna
be the long journey in getting uranium, but sometimes it's better to focus on your titans and stats rather than building up your city to a different level, if that makes sense. Because
Yep.
we have seen many, there's many C-38s out there in the newer nations that are just C-38s with farm
paper.
Yep.
stats.
Paper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, made out of tissue paper.
Made out of tissue paper. You just blow it
Yeah, but
away.
that's the thing with C-34, right? You can skip camp entirely. C-34 is not difficult to get, even for like if you only buy the uranium card, right? You're going to be pulling approximately with like Medici, with mining, with everything. You're going to be pulling approximately 100K uranium per month. So C-34 is very doable, and you get tanks which are actually pretty good. They're not shredders, but they're good. And then you have cannons that are really good, right? Like T11 cannons are better than T12 snipers.
It's a fact.
It is a
Yep.
fact. So you're saving a ton of money. You're becoming a lot stronger if you go the long range T11 cannon that way
Route.
route. Wait, sure.
And I'm the one with the bad English here.
Well, yeah, it is my, it's the second language for me as well.
Really? I didn't know that.
Now you do.
The more we know. Do, 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 do.
I have another question that's not necessarily related to being mid-range, but Bender over wants to know what the unit type you guys all think is useless is.
Thought we established that
Or
gunners are the useless type.
gunners are bad.
I think it's generally like all range, not just specific mid-range unit.
Oh,
Gunners and snipers,
yeah.
100%.
Yeah, they're both good
I
against,
think sniper, the only
right?
thing
Like
good snipers
in
are
the
is
nation.
just for Mother Doom or anything zombie related, I think.
Well,
Or did that change?
that's where gunners shine as well. So they have that boost, but like normally in fighting, those two troop types are terrible.
Uh, yeah. I mean, I think that's like I said, I think they're more focused on like PvE and PvP. So for PvE, maybe snipers and gunners are good at that, but for player versus player, like attacks, no, they're not good for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Build your army to fight people.
Yes, we are killers and we fight people. Even though it's a zombie
Exactly.
game, we don't fight the zombies. We just fight
Exactly.
other cities.
All that junk you recruit is all junk you have to hide.
Mm-hmm. It's all that
And if
junk
you're
in the
not
trunk.
hidden, you're gonna die.
Any other question, you
Poggy Wogify wants to know, what about shielders? What is
are? Oh my
everybody's
God, those are
opinions on
horrible.
shielders?
I use them as filler, that's about
I don't
it.
even, yeah, filler. I don't even use them.
They're expensive.
Yeah.
So a lot of players in new nations, like, so their special skill is not terrible, um, but they're extremely expensive. So a lot of players, they will not even have shielders because they will skip workshop altogether, which, excuse me, in my opinion, it is 100% the right thing to do.
Yeah,
Oh, so
unlimited
you can.
budget.
Oh, yeah.
They're
Continue. No,
fragile
it's okay.
troops in general, right? Most of the workshop stuff dies pretty easily, in my opinion. They're fragile and they're expensive.
Yeah, total waste of uranium.
100%.
Not if you're C-38.
She's 38.
Mm,
Shush, shush.
Oh, I mean, if you're a long range player, you're going to want EMP.
But I thought
yeah, but I mean,
since, the rumor of C40 coming out, maybe
it would
it would be
actually,
best to
I mean,
just skip the lasers and go straight to get T13 tanks and cannons,
100%.
Yeah, that would
Oh,
be the
yeah.
smart move, the smart thing to do.
Oh, okay. So Maddie has a question, loaded question. At C40, will mid-range troopers or long-range cannons reign supreme? Um,
I don't know. It depends what they do with the workshop. Normally, it's always been 3 levels, right? For it to it's never been 2 before. So if they get or one, basically one in between, if they're going to give you a new workshop troop at 40.
well, so I think he's asking which troop type will be better. Will be a better attacking T13 troop, the cannons or the troopers?
Well, who knows? I mean, I don't know if it's yeah. We'll have to see, I guess, right?
I will be biased and I will say troopers, simply because of their AOE, which does not have a range.
Probably. I know that was the case with 35.
Yeah, so the thing with cannons, they're out of rocket range. Like rockets, they will not reach cannons if the front line is standing. But troopers, since their special ability has no range, it can reach titans, it can reach cannons, it can reach absolutely anything. And especially if you're like you have a lot of them in the fleet, they will be extremely dangerous because they will cut down whatever you're attacking.
Looking forward to T13 Havoc.
Same.
Mm-hmm. Give me 1 second.
Because that's what we all need, right? Is a new, stronger, more potent troop.
Do you think they're gonna create a new resource to get there?
No, right. If everything holds true, we may have to upgrade technology again.
Uh,
It'll and
why are we
it
talking
would
about
take
C40? This
uranium.
podcast about mid-range. Let's go back to that. I'm getting depressed
Mm.
thinking about
Uh,
C40.
well, actually, I mean, it has a bit. So like troops right now, ever since Warplane came out, they're slightly underpowered. They're kind of like useless and more of a vessel, especially once you reach to Gold Warplane. So if they have any type of resistance on them, it would act like it would make them worthwhile.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
So with a Gold Warplane, then does it make sense to focus on defense?
No. I mean, I have a player in my uranium mine. He's a max player, stupid strong, great guy, and he's been absolutely wrecking me with his gold skill because what happens is rockets are my main troop type. They make rockets function as gunners would. Right? They completely
take away their
disrupt
skill.
them.
Yeah.
Excuse. Yeah, for
Okay,
the
just
duration of the
disrupts the
fight,
skill.
and
Yeah.
they're useless.
Ooh. So it's for the entire battle after they get disrupted?
There is like maybe a second or two in between before the disrupt ends, and then the skill activates again, which disrupts them again. So it's bad.
Do you wanna since we're in the topic then about the gold warplane, do you want to show everyone about that? What you were discussing oh god, discuss that talking to me about the warplane of the disruption skill.
Yeah, 1 second. Uno momento.
I got tongue tied. Ugh.
Hold on, my phone is acting up. 1 second. Let me get out, and then I'll join right back.
Okay. All right, people. Now that he's gone, welcome back.
Okay, that was quick. So here it is. Start broadcast.
All right, let me hold on. Don't move too fast now. I need to open what I need to open. Okay, and that should pop up in the stream.
All right, so just so you guys know, this guy is
1 second. 1 second. Do you guys see the screen or no?
Not yet.
Give it a second. You gotta go slow, Bodeezy.
It's up
Por
now.
despacito.
There's a delay though, but it's up.
Do you guys see it?
It's a little delayed. Okay. I
Yeah.
think.
All right. So Morbius is a max player, insanely strong. Not trying to beat him because I simply can't. He is the top player in the mine, and trying to see what could happen with the gold warplane and whether hiding troops, hiding rockets, will do anything. And it's been terrible, terrible results. You guys see it? Hello?
Yes.
It's not
All
on the live stream. It's on the other stream though.
All right.
It's not in the live.
No, there's a delay on the live stream.
All right. Let's just wait for it to catch up. And just wait for 5 seconds, maybe. Maybe it's a 20-second delayed. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so we can see the battle report on the live stream now.
Okay, now it's up.
All right. So this is when the skill gets activated. And essentially it is a 100% disrupt on the troop type with the highest unit number, as well as a breakthrough in a way. It's similar to Zeus breakthrough. And it is deadly as hell in player versus player. Yeah, so I've been playing with it with hiding rockets and boosting, bikers, adding more troop types to kind of, as big fillers.
Yeah.
But yeah. So if at T13 they have something that will kind of mitigate the disrupt factor, that will make troops important. If not, it would suck. And the thing with that, it would suck for long range. It would suck for mid range. It would suck for absolutely anybody.
Reduce disruption. Kill skill coming to the shop soon.
I'm probably Titan talents, the two unlocked ones.
Oh yeah, yeah, the two locked one. That could be it.
How
So yeah,
expensive is that gold warplane, like to get to the disruption skill? Like, since I see that there's a new element or a new material that you need to get, do you get that
yeah.
once you become purple, or is that like when you become blue?
When you become purple, upgrades from there on, and then I think upgrading the talents past level 15 when it's purple and above uses them also.
Okay, I see. Yeah, because I'm still
It's
green,
expensive.
so I can't tell.
It's
I'm
expensive.
trying, guys. I'm trying my best.
It's um. Hold on. Uno momento.
This little boy does not want to fall asleep.
Yo, I send my kids to grandma's house. That's why you hear no noise in my
Yo,
house.
I've been fighting with this
I
boy for
plan
like.
ahead. I planned
He's
ahead.
like, we played it.
So
It's not up yet on the live stream.
Just
yeah, but I
just
mean,
wait
it
for
is.
5 seconds, maybe.
I don't know. I
Oh,
didn't do
oh,
the
you're
math.
sharing. You're sharing again. Oh, sorry. My bad. My
Yeah,
bad.
every time I stop sharing, the phone kind of it doesn't let me reshare again. So I just have to
You need
close
to
the app and then yeah.
wait. Okay. Let the stream catch up real quick. Hold on. I should show now. Oh, really? Really, Bo? You gonna hurt my girl like that?
It's an inside joke.
There we go. It showed up.
Yeah, so um it is not cheap, but it kind of makes troops especially this skill right here, it kind of makes troops and their functions absolutely obsolete. So EMPs, if you're a C38, EMPs will not have AoE. They will just do regular damage. To front row rockets will not shoot. The back row zombies will not do any of their specials. It can hit Titans. It can do all of that stuff. So this kind of, I don't want to say broke the game a little bit, but especially for PvP, it made Titans, zombies, and warplane a lot more important than troops or stats. So there's that.
So you're saying this skill is making troops useless to have?
It, it's not making troops useless. It's making them more of a vessel for Titans, for zombies, and for warplane. They're just there.
Like a filler.
Yeah, I mean, you have Titans that will do the killing. You have Warplane that eventually will do the killing because the base damage is extremely high. And zombies, they will do what they do.
What do zombies do?
They're fantastic. They're absolutely fantastic.
Well, you hear that? If you have low level zombies, you need to start grinding and getting them stronger. Because zombies are good.
Really good.
What do you say, Captain and Oxy? Do you think zombies are good?
Yeah, I send them all the time in my fleet. T12 zombies are great.
Captain? Oh, forgot. He's trying to put his kid to sleep. um, if T13 comes out, then we're gonna have T13 zombie. Is there gonna be like a new skill for them? Since once you reach the max level, you're still T12, or maybe, who knows, right?
It'll probably just increase the base stats. So attack, HP, defense, all of that stuff, um, which will be fairly substantial if you're at a high level of like zombie girls.
Yeah, they're tech.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. All right, Yor. Do you see anything else, Yor?
No, there's not any more questions that I can see.
Right, because they're all the
Uh,
way up.
all right. So Medi said it's making them a vessel for big spenders. The average player is just screwed, and that is something I absolutely agree with.
So, should the average player not get that then?
No,
Yeah,
he's talking about the warplane.
Mm-hmm.
So you know how some people, some bigger players in DoD or Triangle War, even if they're like long range or mid range, they will run mechs frontline, and they will have their zombies and titans do all of the killing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like that's how it is with Warplane, because it cancels all the beautiful things about the troops. So if you're a a C-34 with T-11 cannons, and you have their special ability, which is great, it will completely shut that down. If you have troopers, it will shut that down. Rockets, EMPs, all of that. Shredders. What makes shredders good is their special ability to reduce damage. Um, if they get just fully disrupted, they're just going to be, base stats.
yep. I've been beat recently by a guy with about 1100, I think, melee HP and under 1500 long range, and I'm 13 and a little over 15.
You want to show the report?
And he's I don't know if I can find it. Let me look. But yeah, it's pissing me off, and it's all his warplane.
I'm just gonna say it. You brought it up. I'm just.
Mm,
You brought it up. You gotta show it now.
I don't know.
All right, let's see. Well, he looks for that. Let's see.
I guess another question is it's not necessarily mid-range specific, but with the introduction of the gold warplane, it like what do you do as an average player then?
You're screwed.
We're all screwed.
No, so um, plane is extremely good. It has insane base stats, so the damage output is going to be, through the roof. Once people get it to good levels and through to good evolutions, between male titan zombies and the warplane, it's going to be like 75% of your fleet gone if somebody goes heavy into it, in like fleet versus fleet scenarios. So DoD, triangle, uranium mine, anything of that sort, it's going to be completely dominated. But by everything other than troops and stats.
Did you? Oh, all right. Oxy found it. Give me 1 second, Oxy. Okay. It's up here. Let me check the chat. It's not yet. Give it a second. Any second now. I need to figure out how to fix delays. All right, now go ahead, Oxy. It's all you.
Okay. Yeah, it's this guy from BBB, right? The Titans are a little bit higher than his, but his melee's less. It's 1506 long range. He came back buffed. He was like 1492 or something. And I'm 1323 and 1526.
I see. What are his stats like? Oh wait,
Melee HP is like
it's
200 points less, and then I've got 20 attack points or so, and it's mid versus long, which usually is in our favor.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you had zombies and shredders disrupted.
Yeah.
I don't think the video works right if you click on it.
Yeah, no, it did. I'm playing it right now. It'll just be late on the stream because even though it pops up, it doesn't then snap live. We're still 20 seconds behind.
Oh no.
But yeah, so that's the warplane. I think I got him a little bit before that. But he came back with a vengeance. There was also a guy that I was beating whose warplane was blow, or even low blow. And I was mopping him up, and he spent a ton of money.
Have you noticed that the Alliance BBB in 114, they have a lot of mid-range players. Like, I think majority of their Alliance are mid-range.
No, they've got 3 or 4 very big ones.
Yeah, even the smaller ones are mid-range. I mean, I understand why. I mean, they have a Asahi, obviously. Like, hello.
Yeah.
If Asahi's in there, everybody's gotta almost gotta be mid-range. You gotta, protect the queen, right?
I mean, that's kind of how it goes. We also have a lot of mid rangers in our alliance, and the top 2 players are mid range. So a lot of people will, follow suit once they see the kills, once they see the battle reports, and so on and so forth. That's just kind of how it goes.
Yeah. But till this day, I'm still gonna stick to long range.
It is the safer one.
It's the
It is for
safest
people
one.
that don't like risk.
No, it's for the people that are poor like me, the average Joe, the peasant. I'm only here for the breadcrumbs.
Mid range is actually not that much more expensive in battles.
It all depends how many battles you join, but yeah, it's nothing
Yeah.
crazy.
I join all of them. I join.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
I
That's
have.
why it's a little bit more noticeable in what we
I
lose. I
mean,
mean, when you
last.
attack 60 things.
Well, no, I attack a lot more than 60 things. But last void, I lost like 7 million BP. But I got like close to 30 million kills in a void.
Nice.
So it's not as long as people like everybody in your group has a decent front line. it's not going to be terrible. Obviously, first aid will help you tremendously if you have, excuse me, maxed or close to max, but it will, apply to any player across the board. But for mid range, if there is a proper front line, it will kind of mitigate the losses quite a lot.
Yep, that's why we have front row requirements for everybody if you join in a group attack.
Same.
But Oxy, all I have is axes. All my shredders and tanks die. I don't have
As
front
long as
line.
you have enough axes, otherwise sit home and recruit.
I still don't understand people that think that when we tell them, hey, you need frontline, frontline is very important. Like, you guys need to understand frontline is very important. When we say we need this many, you send that many or more, because the battle can go very badly if there's not enough frontline. So front
Facts.
lines are very important.
Well, see, for us, since we do have a lot of mid-range players in our alliance, we are protecting all of the long-range players, right? Because we're going to have a massive midline. So it is only fair for them and, mid-range players to put enough front line to protect us, because that is the only way they will kind of mitigate our losses. If the front line is too low, it's not going to be pretty for us.
Yeah, since you lose double the amount than a long ranger would.
A ton, yeah, a ton.
A ton.
Yeah,
Imagine what
and
melee build feels. They lose the whole front line,
I actually, hold on.
What you were gonna say,
Hold on.
Oxy? Sorry for cutting you off.
no, you're good. Yeah, I read in a large group attack like that. If our front row dies, we're getting wrecked. That's when it gets ugly quick.
Mm-hmm. It does get ugly quick and painful. But it's okay. Troops are meant to die, right?
Yeah, I don't even
It's
know. We
better
just
it's
keep
better
going.
to lose them in a battle than just sitting at home, no bubble, and then they're hitting you. You know?
Yeah, some people I don't understand.
You got it, Bodeezy?
No, actually, I'm looking for it. I'm not going to name the player, but all of the messages are deleted, so I think he might have left.
The Discord?
Um, but yeah, he showed me a screenshot of his losses of the void potion he had to get, and the fact that he had level 20 on both of his first aids, and it was an insane loss. So melee players, like him, like Flex Nuts, those guys are great for kind of eating the cost for to make everybody else's life better.
Bless up, Felix Not. Thank you.
Facts.
Facts.
Maddie has another question for you guys, which is to explain retreat tactics to people if they're mid range.
So
Back then,
basically,
you want to
go
go?
ahead.
Mine's
Oh yeah, I
just,
was just gonna say right with retreat tactics. Basically, you attack something, and as they begin to get rains, if you think it looks like you're going to lose the battle, there's more rains on the way, then retreat. You're going to lose a lot less, and probably still do most of the damage that you were going to do. Right, basically, as those rains arrive, is when you start to take the damage. So it's a good time to retreat. Right, if you hit something and say 2 get in, you're still doing okay, but you see 3 more on the way. Retreat. I don't know about the differences between long range and mid range.
It's can I say it?
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So as soon as the battle starts, your damage output is going to be at 100%. So all of your troops are intact, your titans, your zombies, all of that stuff. With the progression of the battle, each second, each 2 seconds, whatever, your damage output will greatly decrease. So you have 10 seconds, right, before you can, essentially retreat. Those 10 seconds, that's when you're going to do the most damage while taking on the least amount of losses. So, for instance, if you're sending 550,000 troops against a huge city, the first 2 seconds is when you're going to get the most amount of kills. And then it will kind of decline after that. And after you die, that's when they will get the most amount of points, because they will kill your 550,000 troops. So if you retreat, you get more points than you lose, and it's actually a pretty good tactic to use to milk points. So if you're a spender, if you don't mind taking on minor losses or doing potion, you can actually milk a crap ton of points from huge players that are just sitting there wide open, and you just keep hit retreat, and I mean you can win the whole event that way.
I was gonna
Interesting.
say, back then I would think let's say, like retreat is great and all, but that works. I think it works great if you're like a solo attacker, then you can retreat. But if it's a group attack, I think it's more of a morale to it. Like, how dare you leave us behind while we're dying over here, type of deal. But
Yeah,
if the group, like, if the majority of the group agrees, like they think the same thing, like if this attack fails,
you
we
have to
should
practice it.
retreat. Yeah, I know. We should retreat to for the enemy to gain less points than they would if we stayed, if that makes sense.
100%. And also with group attacks, you will deal with lag, so that's going to be an issue. Um, but this thing I learned from Jenny Nation 2, when she had like 4.8 billion points or something along the lines, in Void, when she was just hitting a huge city that was left unbubbled, and she was just milking it for points. So retreat is great.
So yeah, guys, practice your retreating. Get that's what is the material? The retreat material? Is it a material or is it like
You can do
an
like gold.
item?
It's like
It's like
Yeah.
50 gold or something like that. But
no, it's not
Yeah.
50
in
gold.
Yes,
no,
it
it's
is.
I
really,
think
There's
it's
really
raw
cheap.
card
like a couple hundred or something like that, but you can get it from the black market.
for
Yeah, but
50
the issue with
or one.
group retreats is, first of all, you have to practice. Second of all, there's a high probability that you will be dealing with lag. And then everybody retreats, and you're gonna have quite a few people that they're gonna get smashed
The only
like
problem with
bad.
retreat is that once you press the button, you're still there for the next 10 seconds.
No, it's like four
No,
seconds.
10
Yeah, 10
seconds into the
seconds.
battle is when you can retreat. No, it's not an additional 10. It's 10 in total from the start of the battle.
Oh,
No, so hold on. So it is 10 seconds is when you can retreat, and then it's 4 seconds afterwards.
Yeah.
I don't know. Every time I
That's how long
try, it
the
doesn't let me.
retreat
The battle
process
ends
takes.
quickly.
Yeah, so if you're at, 11 seconds in and you hit retreat, you're going to retreat at 15 seconds in total.
Oh, damn. I
All
guess I
right,
need to
so
practice.
Lumberg and Harley are saying it's 500 gold.
To retreat?
But yeah, I don't.
Maybe because you have the item. Because the one
No,
I'm
you
thinking
can
about, the
actually
50
Rec-
gold one, is the recall item. Recall and retreat are not the
Oh,
same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
recall is cheaper.
Well, yeah, but that's before getting into the battle, you know?
okay. So withdraw, it is 500. Yeah. So can be used 10 seconds after the battle starts. Withdraws all remaining troops from battle 4 seconds after use. So it is 14 seconds is when your fleet is out.
At
Sorry,
best.
Bodeezy. Someone by the name D Mac is saying, "Bo, giving away all the secrets."
I love DMAC.
Shout
Shout
out
out
D
to
Mac.
513.
Hi, D-Mac.
513.
So there's another question talking or asking, are T-12 rockets that much better than the T-11 stormtroopers?
Um, can I answer this?
I think we already
Yeah.
did, but you got it. Yeah.
Thank you. Base stats are much higher. HP, attack, all of that stuff. Rockets, it seems like they never die. Um, so they will be better in that sense. But troopers have a better skill set. They have a better design. But the only issue with that is they are weaker in terms of base stats, and they're extremely expensive in terms of uranium used for workshop.
Well, that was
Hashtag done.
crystal. Mic drop. Oh, that was clear.
Boom.
Boom. Okay. Let's see. There, yeah, 500 gold for that withdrawal card. Any other question, you were?
That's all the audience has.
Wow, we did an hour and 24 minutes. Yay!
Nice.
Nice. And Captain still hasn't come back.
Captain is sleeping.
And he's and he leaves.
Uh, it's fine.
Talk about why Camel is only merging 2 nation now versus 3. I
I
don't
liked
see it.
what Lumberg said, that if you use retreat, Nikki will find you and feature you on her next video. So don't retreat when Titan 52.
Yeah,
The
don't
reason
be the
why he
only one who retreats, for sure. If you're the only
the,
one who retreats in battle, you're getting memed, for
the
sure.
the reason why he says that is because if you guys seen my latest video, 52 versus 285 in Boyd, there's a meme of an attack versus TSK versus us. We are defending and TSK is attacking us. Um, in that attack, I'm not sure how many, but there's a good amount of players from TSK who retreated. And I got the genius idea to be like, oh, I'm gonna meme this. It looks funny. Like when you look at the report and you see so many people retreating, it's just funny, you know? So yeah, a lot of them retreated in that one attack. So if you have not checked out that video, you guys should. It's very good.
Yeah, it was a good war.
Yes, a good, very stressful. I don't want to see them again. We should meet other people.
Yes, we should see
I'm
other
sorry,
people.
Lumber. I love you, but I don't want to meet your nation again. I'm so no, no, not for me. We should you go over there. I go the other way.
Yeah,
But I love my
24 hours
TSK
of war.
people. We made a whole
Right.
song for you and everything.
So to Lumberg, he says at Bodeezy, I cannot see where in the description for gold plane skill ultra pulse laser it says it will disrupt. All I see is lockdown of target and extra laser text. Can you elaborate? So if you look at the gold skill, the skill above it, laser disruptor, is it has heaven, for me, it is have an 18.3% chance of applying the disruptor status for 8 seconds after the laser cannon or ultra pulse laser hits the target. Targets in the disruptor status cannot cast skills. So you have the gold skill that works with the disruptor skill, and that's kind of how you always will get the disruptor through the gold skill.
But I'm gonna have a water break.
Yeah, so it's the same reason you don't level up that first purple talent, right? That's just basically unlocking it, and then the next one increases the percentage it's going to fire, and they all just sort of stack on each other from there.
Exactly. So the first purple skill is actually all you have to do is unlock it. After that, it's damage. It's not going to be anything significant. I do all of my useless skills to level 10. And then, I have every EMP disruptor ammo deals 80% damage, which is not significant at this point. So you have to unlock it. And, afterwards, the fortified disruptor is when you increase the chance of having a unit disrupted that was hit with the EMP. And once you do laser disruptor and ultra pulse laser, that's when it kind of matches things. So every time the ultra pulse hits, it will disrupt that unit, which is going to be your primary unit type.
All right, I'm back. Drank some water. Felt my throat was feeling dry. Okay, so I see a question from Polodor.
Just,
Polodor.
yeah,
Um,
he's from the Alliance.
he says, what are your opinions concerning mixing low tier troops with high tier troops, and are there certain troops we should prioritize versus others?
Oxy?
Yeah, I mean, I think low tier troops definitely have their purpose. They're great for cleaning cities, for finishing off Titan traps, that kind of stuff. You're going to lose a lot less.
Or if you get hit, those are the ones that are gonna die.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of the times those are going to be the ones that are going to die in mass, so it's always good. If you're too fat to hide, that keep a decent little stock of T1 there.
Yeah,
So
but
that those can die and spare other.
that's the very important part is if you're too fat to hide, that's the pretty much the only time you should have it in stock, like big numbers for if you get hit is going to be like an airbag, so to speak, like a one hit special that will protect you.
Exactly. They'll all be dead and you'll have to recruit them again, but it beats taking that hit on, your T11s and T12s. So yeah, I use them a lot for cleaning. I've thought about, once I get my warplane where I want it to be, using them in Void against smaller targets, right? Just send them with your Titans of warplane and see what happens.
I mean, that's why they gave us like how many warplanes do we get? Like 5 extras?
Just only work on one.
Yeah.
Only work on one.
Yes, only work on one. I'm just saying the ones that you do not work on, maybe you can use that for cleaning instead of sending.
It's
Well,
not going to do anything significant though.
yeah, the nice thing about using warplane for cleaning with T1 is only if you've got golems, because then the golems become your front row, right? So I send like 100 T1 tanks, 100 T1 cannons, and then I fill the rest with T11 Havocs. If it's, small, then I'll just send my warplane. If it's,
So
closer to 150
I'm
or
going to
200,000, but it's cheap, then I might send my Titans depending.
hold on. I'm going to post a picture right here.
Is it something
A
I
lot
can
of
show?
Uh, yeah, you're just gonna have to click on it and stuff like that. I will use a lot of like tier one, tier two troops as fillers because I know for a fact they will die. I'm not trying to have a whole fleet of T12s, especially against someone I can kill, and I know for a fact I can kill. So a lot of those times I will like split the tiers. I will do like tier 12, tier 11, tier 10, 1 and 2, and have a lot of those troops die first because it costs absolutely nothing to recruit back.
I just want to say thank you, Yor, for the $20 tip. I saw the little notification. Didn't want to bother
You're
and post
welcome.
it, but thank you. Love you, girl. Thanks for the support.
Thanks for being an awesome AO veteran.
Oh my god, you guys are. Oh, I'm gonna explode of so much love. But anyway, sorry for interrupting. Continue.
Okay, so you're saying when attacking a city, you should, right? You can mix them in. Obviously, take T12 rockets and shredders, right? But I can mix in some T1 back row and mid front filler.
Yeah, but I mean, I mix in like pretty much everything because those troops, I know they will die first, and it will kind of, in a way, protect my T12s because I do a lot of attacking. I'm not trying to lose, a ton of T12 troops because I'm not one of those players that recruits a lot and never hits. I'm the opposite. I hit a lot and does like I don't recruit a lot, right? So I'm always in a deficit after every void. So I've just kind of learned to use low tier troops as fillers, especially on like cities I know I can kill. Like, your 20-25 million, not an issue. I send it, boom. I don't lose anything important. And all of the low tier troops, it's gonna cost like 2,000 gold to recruit back.
Yeah, I'm less concerned with the loss of the troops and more how can it benefit us in points.
But Oxy, you have plenty of troops.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
You
What's your
have
BP?
plenty of jelly in that belly.
My
You shouldn't worry.
Oxy's everyone's
one
favorite fatty.
yeah, 192.
Okay, yeah, you're totally different. I am like 81.
You're you're you were too far away from your phone.
Yeah, I'm 81 BP, but I am always losing more than I'm kind of gaining.
I've been there.
So that's kind of like my issue is right now I have like I'm in a super awkward stage where I cannot hide, and like it's either I cut down my troops or spend a lot of money to go up to a level where it's kind of like, you know, enemy alliances will now want to hit me. So what I do now is
What's
I
that?
utilize
What's
a
that
lot of.
size in your globe? Is that right? Is that something you can get away with at 150 or what in your globe?
So yeah, for me it's like 150, 100%. Like that's going to be a tough sell. Even though like a lot of alliances, they might try without my titans, without my warplane, without the main fleet, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But there's that's kind of like the thing that they're not sure about whether it's going to cost them the void, for instance, right?
Yeah.
So that's another thing they have to think about. Like, like, okay, yeah, he doesn't have his titans at home. He doesn't have his main fleet. But should we attack him? Like, are we going to lose this void from this one hit?
Exactly.
So that's kind of like my only thing that saves me, because even on defense, I am like fairly strong. Um, but the only issue is I lose a lot of troops and I have been doing like your like the T11s, the T12s, and I'm like, dude, I cannot keep up with the growth of the city, right?
Yeah.
So that's when I started utilizing a lot of like the T1s, the T2s. So I
That
filled the
way you can.
fleet. It costs nothing to replace, and I still manage to do what I want to do in void. And then for the important hits, obviously, I do my T12s mainly, and that's how I get the big hits. Maddie said, "Bo is a juicy snack," and
How dare you?
no,
Oxy
no, no, no,
here
no,
is
no,
the
no, no,
juiciest
no,
one of
no,
them
no,
all.
because I remember Maddie hitting me in GC, and he absolutely failed, and it was him and his friend. So there's that, Maddie.
Two
I'll,
people
I'll
against
find
No, it
that
wasn't
80
out.
Maddie by
million people.
himself. It was Maddie and his friend.
I'll
Yeah,
find
no,
that
it
out.
was
Yeah,
it was it was a terrible hit. Like,
yeah. Two people on an 80 million, 75 million, 38 is a
no,
bad
no,
idea
I
on a
had I
weekend.
had fleets out, so like I had, it wasn't like one fleet. I had multiple fleets out, so it wasn't like my full amount of troops. Um, but yeah, I mean, he said, I'm a juicy snag, but hitting me is kind of like, yeah, that was the last 10 seconds. Yeah, yeah, hitting me is kind of like iffy because even on defense, I would still be number two in Maddie's nation as far as stats, as far as Titans, as far as everything goes. So there's always a possibility of losing a lot of points while doing it.
Gotta have the numbers.
Gotta have the
Yeah.
numbers.
They're going to need what? 50, 40
For who? For you guys?
for you.
Um, Last time I checked, 36. I dominated. It was like 7 million killed to 1.8 million losses.
Nice. How many troops?
Me,
Yeah.
I had under 5 million.
Nice.
So I mean, like stuff like that, like those kinds of hits. Yeah, I would take losses, um, but that would win the void for us.
Exactly. Right. It's a billion-point hit.
Hold on, he said we could do it with 30. Uh,
Maddie.
I see a
maybe
frenzy
Bump it
challenge
up,
if you
coming.
got the
boy.
numbers up.
I see a frenzy challenge coming.
I see. Oh
If
yeah.
you got the numbers up.
Bump them numbers up, Maddie. Bump it up. Because Bodeezy's gonna have a gold warplane soon. I'm not
Already
sure how
says
Yeah,
it.
much of a difference that will make, but
I
it
mean, it
is
is
more
going
than
to be a
30.
huge, but I'm pretty sure they will try to catch me without it. That
Yeah,
would be the
that's the
smart
trick.
thing to do. And at that point, it kind of becomes that's when it becomes tricky. If I don't have Titans, if I don't have Warplane, that is when you're
Oh,
most vulnerable.
yeah, it's dicey for sure.
So yeah,
But it's also hard, right? You're waiting for somebody to go out so that you can see their Titans go. How often are people that
yeah, but
size
like
just
I
sitting there
do,
waiting to get hit, right? I mean, if
I
you're,
do over 100 ports per void though. Like
yeah,
if it's
no,
like an
I'm
important
well aware.
void,
I
I
do
will
a
do
whole
over a
bunch of
hundred
them.
ports.
One at a time, guys.
Yeah,
One at a time.
yeah, definitely.
He still says that's 30, so he firmly believes, with all his soul in his broken rib, that he can beat you with 30.
Maddie's broken rib.
You know what? You know what? So here's the thing, and I'm gonna say it out loud. Um, I pinned I sent a message. I pinned, and if I said if we ever lose, like if we ever face like a giant nation where they can actually like smack me silly in one hit, I have no issue deleting the troops. But in this case, I can also recruit a shit ton of troops if we face Maddie. So there's that. There's
Oh my
always the
God.
risk
I'm
of
getting
losing.
flashback when Maddie had Boy with Raz and we had that podcast with Woody. Shout out to Woody. And and they were talking about bets and whatnot. Now you're doing that again. You're doing that.
No, 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 no. I have the utmost respect for Maddie. He's a good person. We talk a lot. Respect for 524 great guys. Um, but I have deleted my troops when we faced 560 in Chaos Land, and it was like, it was no KE, and I was just like, I don't want to give out troops, I don't want to give out points, so I just deleted like 8 million of my of my BP, so I could like hide better. I don't have like a like Raz, a BP thing where I'm like, I have to be a certain BP for me to void. Like, no.
Yeah,
Nope.
because
You just don't want
remember,
to be
guys,
unknown.
BP does not equal power.
Mm-mm.
Just because you have a high BP does not mean that you're stronger than someone that has a lower BP.
For some people, it is like, I don't want to say it's like prestige, right? But a lot of cases, people will like think like, oh, I'm higher BP, I'm better than you, but that's not even close to being true. Um, there
I
is
mean,
a
have you
player.
seen those higher BPs and low skills?
Oh, hold on, I'm gonna show you something.
Okay, let me prepare because you're gonna share something. Pull
Um,
that up.
so you have this guy.
You're not sharing.
Oh, hold on. You want me to share? Okay.
I thought you were gonna share it. Oh, he left. He's back.
He has to close out the app every time I
What
reopen
kind
it
of
to
phone do
screen
you
share.
have?
Okay. Um.
All right, watch. Let it load.
So you have this guy, right? For instance, 572. These are the stats.
Okay.
Okay. 572. 68 million C35.
That's super tasty.
Oh, that's juicy.
Right. So it's like that is a snack.
That is a snack.
Um, Even though he has like, I don't know, decent officers. Um, but that's when you kind of get a little bit over yourself, and yeah, not smart.
It's overweight.
What was it?
I said that's overweight.
Yeah, no, that's too much. I mean, the stats, they don't like the whole build, and that is another very important thing. You have to have a build that matches the city, that matches the BP, right? If you have like a 15 million BP city that's 1,500% on defense, it is going to be significantly different than 75 million city that's 800 on defense.
Definitely.
And that's kind of what a lot of younger younger nations, like mid younger globes, are dealing with. You have a lot of players that think the city level and the troop tier makes them strong, but that's definitely not the case.
Definitely not. I remember, I'm not sure if it was the 300s that was having this. exploration time of they wanted to try out the whole we're gonna be both mid-range and both long range. That was before the 500s came in, but this is I believe it was the 300s, like somewhere in the 300s. It was a group of people that were like, we're gonna be both attack of mid range and long range. What do you think of that type of build?
S- Split builds are dumb
Why are they dumb?
because your fleet size does not change one bit, but you're getting a lower amount of units at a lower attack percentage.
What do you think, Oxy?
I agree. The math doesn't work. You can't. I mean, you're going to be decent at a couple of things, but not elite at anything. You're just spreading it out over the. So
I think they're
basically, all of your
only.
troops are average.
Oh, sorry. Keep continue.
Yeah, all your troops are average, basically.
I think they're only decent on uranium mine. I think they're their own. They work
No,
pretty
they
well.
suck everywhere. They
Well,
absolutely
damn,
are
well,
trash.
Bodeezy, maybe my fleet formation sucks. Like I'm getting beaten by these players. Okay, help a girl out.
Oh, okay, maybe it's time to get Sayez's real number and call him and ask him for advice. Um, but no, I
That
mean
man left me on
these.
red.
Ouch, ouch. No, the split builds are trash. Absolute, utter, like garbage. Not going to be good. Never going to be good. The only issue with a lot of those people, right? Because a lot of those people think they're good, is when they have like monster titans and monster zombies, and that's what we kind of have in the younger globes. It's, people with like absolute and utter trash builds, and then you will have like 2.8, 2.9, 3.1 million titans. Obviously they will win, and it kind of makes them think they're better than they are, right? And when people hit them, they're like, oh my god, they're so strong. They keep winning, but it's not because of their officers or their skills or their stats. It's because titans are like probably the most important thing in the game right now. That is the only reason why they keep winning.
I mean, I think regardless, Titans will still be that will should or still like the game changer of an attack or defense. Like depending the Titan will could determine the battle, right?
uh Fleet versus fleet.
Yes, a fleet versus fleet, of course.
Yeah, 100%.
Because if it's a group attack, there's a lot. I mean, is there a lot of
if it's
variation
if
in a
it's a
group attack?
city, if it is a city, stats, your fleet expansion, your attack, your HP, all of those things will kind of, have a say in the outcome of the battle, right? But you have a lot of events that are fleet versus fleet. So in those things, it really does not matter, about the trait type, the stats, anything of that sort. Excuse me. It's all about your titans, zombies, and now warship.
Right. I guess until more people get into the whole golden airplane, but not, whales are like the 1% of the
Well, I mean, so
population.
here's the deal, right? So my titans are not small. I have hold on. My titans are 2,226,000 BP. And then my warplane is like 560k. My officers are quite big. My stats are good. But then when I like when I challenge like Morbius, like who is a max player, he has level 40 and level 45 and level 44 Titans. He's almost at max zombies. Like there's absolutely nothing I can do, right? There's no formation that can help me win. There's absolutely nothing. Like that guy is so strong because of his Titans, because of his zombies, and now warplane. It's like troops, they become like not even secondary, they just like are left behind.
What about you, Oxy? What are your Titans level or BP?
Um, they're 35 and 34, and I think almost 1.2 or 2.2 million. Sorry, officers are 10.3 and change or something, and warplane is just under 500, I think. So ready to do some more work on the warplane here soon. Let's just get past conquest.
So between, let's say there's we can have a battle between Oxy and Bodeezy. Who will win?
Probably him. Looking at his stats, this warplane is higher level. Our
So
Yeah, like
Titans,
he has
right? Our
more
Titans are
warplane
right
than you?
about the same. Yeah, our Titans are about the same. The stats are slightly better. Like his HP's a decent bit better, a good 100%.
Damn, Oxy, you're getting beaten by a child.
um no, so here's the deal, right? So like officer BP, Titan BP, warplane BP is absolutely not accurate, right? Everything can be bloated. So for instance, my warplane is number 4 in BP in my nation, but I have the highest single warplane unit in my nation.
Yeah, they're top two ones.
And yeah, so many people have done like multiple. One guy has like like 5 level 16s or 17s or something. He's number 2. And then he like levels everything evenly. Same thing with officers. So for instance, I am at 9.5 million officer BP. um but like I have a lot of level 1 skills, right? And then all of my important skills are like max or close to max. And same thing with Titans. You kind of have to, like, the BP is not accurate unless it's max, right? So if you have like the 3.15 whatever Titans, like when they're at max, that's when everything is done. But before that, you kind of you have to examine each and every build, um, because a lot of people, they can have like the female equipment 3, like the highest, which sucks for anybody under like level 40 female and like level 20 talent. So you kind of have to have a smart build in all of it.
Yeah, no, I agree. We focus on the wrong things.
That was me for like 2 months, by the way.
Not all talents are created equal. Not all 2 million BP Titans are created equal.
And yeah, that's kind of it, because once you start looking at BP and you kind of think it's like similar, and then you can have like 500 troops of the opposing sides, and then one comes out with like 300 troops unharmed, and the other person is like, what am I doing wrong? But it's all about if you have a proper build for your level, or if you have a bad build for your level.
Agreed. Definitely people who focused on the wrong things, like leveling up their city and troop levels, those kind of things. or focused all in one area rather than, right, if any of your areas are completely neglected, it's going to end up showing
Remember
through.
back in my day, people wasted money in buying resources packs.
I did that. I did that.
Excuse me, you did that?
I did that.
You damn farmer.
I got to C30 in like the first 2 weeks, so there was not even a single like. Well, maybe there were like a few C15s out, so there was like no choice but to like buy resources.
And what?
But
And that was before. Oh, sorry.
I spent more money on resources in my first 2 weeks than I did on like Titans or officers or equipment because I simply did not know better. And I was just like, all right, you know.
Oh, that one's green.
Is that was before the great prophet of 567 or whatever nation you were came to you and said, Bodeezy, you are the chosen one to be mid-range.
Yeah, no, a lot of people like made fun of me, right? Because I was the top player. I was levels and levels and levels above everyone else. And then I was like throwing like 117 LR8 at people. Like all of my officers, like green, purple,
Yeah.
blue, all of them were the same level. Right, so I leveled every officer. It was like, I don't know, like let's say level 15. And then skills, I had no idea what it was about. I had like level 3 or 4 white and what is it, green or blue equipment.
Green and blue, yeah, white, green, and blue.
Yeah, so it was like white and green equipment. I was just like, all right, it's a higher level, it must be better. But I did not know the difference between, that they're like tiers to everything. So yeah, a lot of the growth came from like bad experience, so to speak.
What an experience. You have completed prophecy to the nation of
Right.
500s.
Has
Right.
said a more for life.
Marked for life. You have the Harry Potter N on your forehead. Or is it a lightning? Is it a thunder? I don't know.
What?
It looks like an N.
Girl,
Yeah,
I got the
he's
sweater,
got like
low
a
key.
sideways M on his forehead instead of a lightning
Okay,
bolt.
chill, guys. Jeez.
Hold on,
Humor
I
is
got the
terrible.
sweater.
You got the sweater.
I got the sweater.
Oh my god, he's gonna show us the sweater.
It's actually in the bag right now. Hold on, let me unpack it.
So you got a sweater and it's still in the bag.
Yeah, I mean it is summer outside.
Ah, that explains it.
So why you're ordering sweaters?
Because it is a sick sweater. Hold on.
Can I show?
I'm really, really excited about this sweater. You have no idea.
Uno
Really good
momento.
sweater. Are you gonna take a picture of it?
Yeah, of course.
All right, let me see how I can show a picture. Bless you.
Thank you.
It's that Poland, you know?
Hold on. I sent.
All right, all right.
Hold on 1 second.
Let me figure this out so everybody can see this lovely sweater. Oops, wrong button. All right, we're here. I wanna go here. Oh, I'm not gonna show the whole thing. I have to like recalibrate. Oh wait, no. I don't have to do that. I can do this. There we go. Perfect. I'm just waiting to let me know when it pops out in the stream you are.
Yeah, we can see it. There's always going to be like a 20-second delay, so just talk like there's no delay.
Oh, okay, gotcha. It'll take time to get used to it, but yeah, it's a pretty cool sweater. I mean, the little thunder is off the center. Should it be in the center?
No, it's supposed to be off center.
Oh,
Because
It is
my
off center.
angle is off center.
listen, guys, it's been a while since I last watched Harry Potter. Okay, chill.
You need to watch Harry Potter.
Maybe we can have a Discord night and we can all watch Harry Potter. Thank you for sharing. All
All
right,
right, I gotta
well,
jump. I got some
yeah.
kids to put to bed.
Well, guys, we had hit the 2 hour mark. I think we had discussed plenty of many things, and I think this is a good time to end the stream. So, thank you,
Thank you,
Oxy.
Nikki.
Thank you, Yor. Thank you, Bodeezy. Thank you, Captain, even though you weren't there much, but I understand. It's okay. You're still great. Um, so yeah, so thank you everybody who tuned in. Thank you everybody who commented, and hopefully if this does good, I'll make another stream on another time. So
About why
subscribe.
mid range is better than long range. Boom.
Listen, you had
Oh,
your chance to say that in this stream. Next stream
I
we're gonna
already
talk
did.
about something else. Maybe we're gonna talk about
No,
C40 or the merges that are coming up, you know?
yeah, no, I had a great time here. Thank you, Nikki, for organizing this. Thank you, Axie. Thank you, Cap. Great people. Thank you, Yor, for just being amazing 24/7, 365. And yeah, it was a great time.
We had fun. We had fun. I had fun. I learned a lot too. And I'm sure everybody else did who watched or tuned in. But yeah, well, I'm gonna end the stream and everybody have a good night or a good morning to start their day because I'm sure there's some people who are waking up and it's morning for them. Right now it's night for me. So yeah, well, thank you everybody. Have a good night. Goodbye.
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye. And end.